She couldn't force people to write the stories that she wanted them to write, so therefore she left to get privacy so that she could write the stories in her own.
January 2026, and the internet is buzzing after a fresh wave of yacht photos connected to Meghan Markle suddenly surfaced. These are not the old, recycled images people have debated for years. These are newly circulated photos that had never been widely seen before, and they instantly grabbed attention across social media. What makes this moment stand out is the context around these images. According to online discussions, the photos appear to show Meghan in very exclusive social settings during her pre-royal years. Not casual vacation snapshots, but environments that suggest high-end networking and elite gatherings that she has never publicly spoken about.
Where do you go from here? What do you become after this? You get the picture. Now, this is the reason why many people understand the marriage, shall we say, has hit one of those rocky.
Online commentators are especially focused on reports that place these images in locations like Monaco and parts of the Mediterranean. These are spaces often associated with international business figures and high net worth circles. Commentators are careful to note that being present doesn't automatically mean anything improper, but the level of access alone has sparked serious curiosity. Social media users are pointing out that these weren't random events. The settings appear private, curated, and extremely exclusive. That has fueled online conversations about how connections are formed in elite global circles, especially long before someone becomes a public figure on the world stage. The timing is what really turned up the heat. These images surfaced just as Meghan is actively promoting a new chapter through media projects and lifestyle branding. Naturally, people online are questioning whether someone wanted to reintroduce parts of her past that haven't been openly discussed before. And here's where speculation kicks in.
We knew that you wanted to go back to LA and that Canada was always going to be a pit stop. From the very beginning, this woman orchestrated leaving the royal family because all she's ever wanted in her life was to be an A-lister in Hollywood. She did not have the talent to become an A-lister in Hollywood. She was relegated to a D-list actress spot on a show called Suits that nobody in America had seen, but apparently, which Prince Harry lets us know.
Viewers aren't making accusations, but they are asking questions. Who released these photos now? Why were they stored privately for so long? And why are they appearing at such a sensitive moment in her public rebranding? Once the images hit the internet, the reaction was instant. Hashtags started trending. TikTok creators began frame-by-frame breakdowns, and comment sections filled with theories and timelines. The conversation spread fast because these photos are clear, recent to the public eye, and very different from anything previously debated. Unlike older images that sparked endless arguments over authenticity, these photos are being discussed as straightforward visuals. They don't rely on blur or guesswork. They simply show Meghan in environments she's never addressed publicly, and that alone is enough to keep people talking. And that's the key point here. This isn't about making claims. It's about why these moments were never part of the public narrative, and why they're suddenly back in the spotlight now.
Markle, I think she was 35 or 30 when she came into the royal family. She'd had a life, she was an actress, she'd been married before, so she was pretty much clued up. And I think what's happened is she's come into the royal family and this archaic system has tried to control her and say, you will do this, you will do that, you will not go here.
The internet isn't letting it go, and the questions are only getting louder. Now this is where things start getting really interesting. According to ongoing online discussions, these newly surfaced yacht photos don't appear to have emerged by chance. Commentators who claim familiarity with elite international social circles are now speaking more openly than before about how high-level networking often works in those environments, and they say the images line up with what they recognize. The key point being discussed is structure. These weren't described as random social events. People online are saying these types of yacht gatherings often operate as part of an established network.
Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one, right? She's been doing it her entire life. And there is no doubt that she studied Princess Diana. She studied her mannerisms towards Harry when he was a boy and the way that she grabs her face. And this is the psychopathic elements of what she does, putting a pregnancy text next to Princess Diana's hair, saying that she put her hands on the grave to have a conversation with her, bursting in
Working circuit, where introductions, invitations, and repeat attendance are carefully managed. It's a world where influence, access, and discretion all matter. One individual who has claimed experience in those circles explained it clearly. These environments revolve around relationship building, social presence at exclusive events, international travel, and maintaining privacy about who you meet and where you go. It's professional networking at the highest level, not casual partying. That framing is why these photos are raising eyebrows.
But once Meghan came on the scene, leaky ship. People were singing like a bird. Why? Because they were Meghan's spies. She was purposely putting that out there. She hired several PR.
During her early acting years, Meghan was largely unknown to the public. Yet the images place her in international settings usually associated with very wealthy and influential figures. Online commentators are pointing out that access like that typically requires introductions and trusted referrals.
I think she was scared of coming back to this country, and quite rightly, because the people of this country don't like the fact that she's stolen our prince. And she's literally brainwashed him, blinkered him, and tied him down to his California mansion.
Here's where speculation, not accusations, enters the conversation. Some sources circulating online now claim the photos may have come from someone within those private circles, someone familiar with how those gatherings worked, and someone who had access to personal photo collections from that time. If true, that suggests more material could exist.
Next to Meghan at the opening ceremony of the Invictus Games. And it's amazing when you look at that footage back, because you realise just how far Prince Harry has dropped.
Naturally, people are asking questions. If these images were shared now, what prompted it? Why surface them years later? And what other documentation might still be private? These questions are driving the conversation, even as mainstream media avoids touching it.
The thing is, there have been lots of scandals which have never come out, I'm told. And the palace have been able to shut them down. So I think the belief is that they can shut these scandals down, and it's only when the scandals emerge that they have to put Plan B into practice. So, and I think if that's the case, then that could be very damaging if that's their attitude.
What's being discussed online is that several photos appear to show Meghan at events where international figures from Saudi Arabia and Gulf regions were also present. Commentators stress that this doesn't imply wrongdoing, but they note the consistency of locations, timelines, and recurring social facilitators. And those circles are extremely selective. You don't simply walk onto private yachts hosting global elites. Invitations usually involve vetting, trust, and someone vouching for you. That's why people are analyzing how access works, not making claims about intent. Another detail drawing attention is Meghan's comfort level in the photos. Viewers say she doesn't appear out of place or overwhelmed. Instead, she looks relaxed and familiar with the environment, which fuels discussion about whether she had prior exposure to similar settings. Sources speaking online now suggest that during those years, Meghan may have formed ongoing professional connections within elite international circles, involving travel, events, and discretion. Again, these are discussions, not verified claims, but they're being examined closely. And here's the timeline detail that really keeps the debate alive. Some of the images are dated between 2008 and 2012, years when Meghan was still establishing herself in Los Angeles. Yet the locations shown are Monaco and Mediterranean destinations, typically linked to high net worth gatherings. In particular, images dated around 2010 are being closely reviewed. That period overlaps with times when international business figures were frequently present at similar yacht events. The overlap is what's keeping the conversation active and unresolved. Similar Monaco gatherings, similar locations, similar elite settings, and recurring organizers known for bringing together international business circles. That repetition is exactly what online commentators keep pointing out, because patterns matter when people are trying to understand how elite access works. Then comes 2011, a major turning point.
Dropping her children off at school, which she conveniently brought the cut reporter to. Because, quote, I would have 40 photographers taking photos in a press pen if I wanted to drop Archie at school in the UK. Meanwhile, my friend Dan Wooten, who's broken tons of news on them, says William and Kate drop off and pick up their 3 kids, including the future King of England.
Meghan lands suits, and many observers have long noted that the opportunity didn't follow a typical Hollywood pipeline. Industry watchers have questioned where certain introductions came from, and these newly circulated photos are now being discussed as possible context for how broader connections may have developed. The conversation online suggests this wasn't overnight luck. Instead, people are pointing to years of gradual relationship building with influential figures who could recommend, introduce, or open doors in ways that aren't always visible to the public. That kind of access doesn't show up on resumes, but it matters.
But if we've got it all wrong, and I'm sorry, Harry and Meghan, if we have got it all wrong, then I suggest to fix it, you issue a new statement where you say that after the awards ceremony that you were followed by the paparazzi that you hired for a few blocks.
By the time Meghan meets Harry in 2016 through well-known social hubs and mutual connections, commentators argue she wasn't new to elite environments at all. According to these discussions, she already understood how high-level social spaces function, how influence flows, and how to present herself as someone valuable within those circles. And here's the detail that keeps resurfacing online. These newly leaked photos suggest a consistent pattern, not one-off appearances.
Did that on her own? Show me royals who have this kind of photo? What? See, the thing is, Meghan, if you need to Photoshop pictures, but then you get mad at your haters because we're calling out your Photoshopped pictures?
Multiple yachts across multiple years, involving the same types of high-status international guests. Viewers say that repetition is what makes the images stand out. People online stress this doesn't prove intent, but it does show structure. Structured access, repeated invitations, and familiarity with exclusive settings are being discussed as indicators of long-term networking rather than casual attendance.
This is really bad security. This is all in a desperate bid for headlines and for Harry to say, oh, see, we need security even in the U.S. This is disgusting. They should be investigated.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's incredible how desperate Meghan Markle is to be compared to Princess Diana in a desperate bid to chase headlines.
Now let's talk timing, because that's what really has people talking. These photos surfaced just as Meghan is publicly rebuilding her image through lifestyle ventures and streaming projects. Observers are questioning whether someone deliberately waited for a moment when public interest would be at its peak. The speculation online is cautious but pointed.
Her father was giving her money and car, and helping her get auditions. And I mean, what do you think? I mean, does it really just the money, or do you think it's fame?
Well, I mean, it's both, because if you think about it, you're not making that much on Deal or No Deal, right? But it was a national television show. It was on NBC. It was a network. You're there.
Many believe whoever shared these images understood the impact of releasing them now, rather than years ago. It feels intentional to viewers, like a reminder that past chapters don't disappear just because they weren't discussed.
My 4-year-old, when we play imaginary play, she gets all the jams out the cupboard and lays them all on the table, and I get the fake money and pretend to buy them. Meghan is doing imaginary play, but she's doing it with Markle.
Some commenters are even suggesting this could be a signal, not a full reveal. A way of saying more context exists without releasing everything at once. Again, that's speculation, but it's fueling non-stop discussion across platforms. There's also debate about who might have shared the photos. Some suggest it could be someone from within those elite circles who disagrees with how history has been framed. Others believe it could be about distancing families or networks from ongoing controversies. No claims, just theories being debated openly. What's clear is this: if photos from private collections are emerging now, years after Meghan left that world behind, it suggests someone has been holding on to them for a long time. That alone has people questioning motives and timing. Here's the reality these images create.
Well, this woman is just a master manipulator. It's the entire reason that they left the royal family in the first place. They constantly banged on about saying, we want privacy, we want privacy. Well, I don't think a 6-part Netflix series is privacy, nor is an Oprah interview. What she really wanted was control.
Meghan largely kept this period of her life out of public discussion. Questions about her early networking were often dismissed as unfair criticism. But now, newly surfaced photos appear to visually match descriptions that have circulated online for years. And perhaps the most noticeable response so far is silence. No public explanation, no added context, no statements addressing what the photos show. Meanwhile, the images continue spreading across platforms, keeping the conversation alive and unresolved.
Long story short, all right, I do blame Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, the shit stain of humanity. Yes, Meghan, and I hope you're watching right now. I hope you're watching, Meghan, because you are the shit stain.
And let's talk about the silence, because that's what people are noticing most right now. Online observers are pointing out that there's been no response, no clarification, and no added context as these photos continue circulating. Many believe the hope is that attention fades and questions quietly disappear. If these newly surfaced images were simple or easy to explain, people online argue that a response would already exist. A short statement, some background, or even basic context could calm speculation. Instead, there's been nothing, and that absence is exactly what's keeping the conversation alive. So what questions are being raised?
So how does it all look? Is my hair good? It's all good.
The States, you don't grow up with the same understanding of the royal family.
Well, that's just not true.
I didn't know much about him.
Well, that's just not true.
First, people are asking how a relatively unknown cable television actress at the time could consistently appear at luxury yacht gatherings in Monaco and the Mediterranean. These are settings typically associated with significant financial backing, and viewers want to understand how that access worked. Second, access itself is being questioned. Private international gatherings don't operate on chance. Someone usually facilitates introductions, vouches for attendees, and decides who belongs in those rooms. Online discussions focus on who may have helped create those opportunities and how those connections formed. Third, people are examining what those networking relationships actually involved. These weren't public events or large industry mixers. The images show small, exclusive settings that suggest closer professional relationships. Viewers are curious how those dynamics functioned and what role Meghan played within them. Fourth, there's the career timeline. Commentators are connecting dots between years spent in elite social circles, landing suits, and later meeting Prince Harry through well-known social networks. People are asking who made introductions, who opened doors, and how influence may have flowed during that period. And then comes the biggest question of all. Why are these photos appearing now? They remained private for more than a decade. Suddenly, in January 2026, they surface and spread everywhere. Many believe the timing is intentional and that whoever shared them had a reason. These aren't framed as wild theories.
You know, I like to think that Meghan would like that. Meghan likes to be number one. Meghan does not simply degrade Prince Harry. She degrades his entire family, his entire legacy. And this is a different kind of embarrassment. She has mocked his heritage, his traditions, his grandmother, the former Queen of England, and it seems like she did so.
Supporters and critics alike say these are reasonable questions sparked by newly circulating visuals, not rumors pulled from nowhere. What keeps coming up is that none of these questions have been addressed publicly. Now, here's why the timing matters so much. Meghan is currently focused on reshaping her public image through streaming projects and lifestyle branding. She's presenting a message built around authenticity, relatability, and personal growth. Then suddenly, these images reappear. photos that suggest years of high-level networking with extremely wealthy and influential figures, a chapter that was never part of her public storytelling. That contrast is what people online can't stop discussing. Viewers are questioning how this fits with the image being promoted now. How does a carefully crafted brand about relatability align with visuals from elite yacht gatherings? How does a narrative of overcoming adversity through talent alone sit beside evidence of long-term access to powerful circles? This doesn't automatically mean anything negative. Networking is a normal part of how global industries operate, but what's being debated is transparency. The photos challenge the simplified version of the story that's been presented publicly for years. And until there's context or explanation, the discussion isn't slowing down. The silence keeps the questions alive, the images keep circulating, and people keep comparing the narrative with what they're seeing on screen. The idea that keeps coming up online is the self-made story, the narrative of overcoming everything alone, with no advantages, no shortcuts, no behind-the-scenes help. That's the image many people associate with Meghan, and that's why these new photos are creating tension. What's challenging about these leaks is what they suggest about timing. If these images are surfacing now, it means people have been holding on to them for years, waiting for the right moment. That implies her public narrative has always been vulnerable, always one reveal away from being complicated by parts of her past she never openly discussed. And here's why the international angle matters so much. Elite social circles involving Middle Eastern royalty and Gulf region figures are known for strict discretion. Networking in those environments is typically private, protected, and never discussed publicly. That's understood by everyone involved. So when photos suddenly appear showing Meghan connected to those circles, and when people familiar with elite networking begin speaking more openly, it signals that something changed. The usual silence and protection no longer apply in the same way. Online commentators are debating why. Some suggest it could be disagreements over how history is being presented. Others think it's tied to growing public scrutiny or controversies that made quiet protection no longer worthwhile. There are no confirmed answers, only theories being discussed. What does seem clear is this. If discretion has been lifted, it means a layer of protection that kept this chapter quiet for years may no longer exist. And that naturally leads to more questions about what else could still be private. People are asking whether these photos are just the beginning. If someone chose to release them now, are they testing public reaction? Are they deciding whether to share more context, more images, or additional material from that period? That puts Meghan in a difficult position. Staying silent allows speculation to grow. Addressing it could invite deeper scrutiny into details she's never spoken about. Either path complicates the carefully rebuilt image she's promoting right now. The larger issue people keep circling back to is transparency. These images don't automatically mean anything negative. Networking is a normal part of how global industries function. But when that chapter isn't acknowledged, it clashes with a brand built on openness and relatability. Right now, her image is being examined from angles she doesn't fully control. Fresh visuals from private collections have reopened a conversation many thought was closed, and silence has only amplified interest. So the real question left is simple. Does this stop here, or does more surface? Because once private material begins circulating publicly, it's hard to put that door back together. These newly leaked yacht photos, shared in January 2026, didn't just spark debate. They reopened a chapter Meghan likely hoped would remain private. And until there's context or clarity, the conversation isn't going away. If you want updates on this story and others like it, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what drops next.